Hello, 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 and welcome to the ETF2L Season 24 Premiership Division Week 3 match. And we're going to be watching between Perilous Gaming and, I believe, Lego. My name is Bren, and I'm joined today by the one and only Sideshow. How are you going, Sideshow?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Watching my boys as they rip through Lego here. They're going to scatter them apart like they were mega blocks.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting some high quality gameplay. Definitely not a bias cast whatsoever from you. So.
No, I'm gonna attempt to remove the bias from my cast, and just, I'm supporting Lego as well, even though I'm even more biased, Bren. You wouldn't believe the bias happening here because my bank account is going really, really low, and Lego still owe me like 200 quid as well. So, and not only are these thieving little bitch lords playing against my team, but Perilous have been going through some coaching things, and they've been taking this match really seriously. They don't, especially after yesterday when Nameless lost points to PC Master Race. They feel like there's an opportunity here for them to finish first seed in the playoffs because it's just been gifted to them in a sense. So they absolutely do not want to drop any points tonight.
Well, certainly going to be tough. When I staying with Cadus, we were casting Lego versus Comfortably Spanked, I believe was the team, and they were having Comfortably Spanked aren't necessarily the best team in Prem right now, but the point that Cadus was making throughout the entirety of the cast was that he was basically saying that Lego, you could definitely see that they were making some plays, and you could definitely see some almost tactics and strategies behind their plays. It wasn't just like the brainless DM fest that he said that they'd gotten accustomed to. They're actually trying to play Team Fortress 2. So, over time, the more scrims they do, I can definitely see them starting to refine that and potentially be a force to be reckoned with, even to contest possibly even the second spot. I mean, after giving Nameless performance the other day.
Yeah, absolutely. Lego are a pretty good team. They just need to work on their entire concept has been that they haven't been able to have that team play for a while. They've always had the quality within their individual players. Let's take a look now at the ETF2L table to start us off, and then we'll be running through the rosters, the stats and things. But if we take a look at the ETF2L table for Premiership Season 24, you can see that it is Nameless in the lead. They have got two more maps played, than Perilous at the moment. So if Perilous are able to take a map, they'll tie them on the same amount of points. If they're able to take both maps here from Lego, they will leapfrog them and go into the lead. So that's a pretty interesting one. Lego as well, though, if they manage to come out with an upset, they'll actually be at the top of the table as well. So it's all really tight at the top at the moment. Oh, of course, this is only week 3, though, Bren.
Absolutely, yeah. We've still got another 4 weeks after this to go through, to chug through. Got some good quality TF2 on the way, not just this match, remember, and of course you've got the playoffs as well after that. So I'm definitely looking forward to this game, mainly because I think Lego have definitely improved so much recently that, even though, as I mentioned, they have been a bit scrappy at times here and now, it's interesting to see if they can fix these issues that they've been having and potentially take it away. And Perilous is going to be a good test in this week 3 right now, because Perilous, hotly debated as you could argue the best team in Europe right at this moment, if we're going by basically current games being played and things, especially with the mix-ups with Cadus leaving a Nameless roster. And obviously Mike as well, who's on the Perilous roster for now, and all sorts like that. So it's definitely going to be a test for Lego, and it's definitely going to be hard this game. But the way they handle it is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the roster for Perilous Gaming here. Interestingly, the Perilous soldiers have decided to switch themselves around as well. So Mike is going to be playing roaming soldier here with Silentis back on his pocket role. So the stats are going to be slightly different, obviously. I mean, you can see here that Mike's been absolutely just pounding on the games that he has played so far. You wouldn't expect any less, though, would you? He's just been destroying people. Ast as well. I mean, they have been playing the lower level teams. This is really their first attempt at taking down one of the top top half of the Premiership table, but nonetheless, they've been slaughtering the opposition so far. They've had some games where they didn't look utterly dominant, but they've won all of their maps, and they've done it most of the time in a pretty emphatic style. Let's take a look at the Lego roster, though, as well. And I want to pay particular attention actually to Zen, because Zen has just moved on to the roaming role, and the stats. I swear to God, I break these stats every time I use them, Bren. I don't know how it works, but if you give me, talk a little bit about how you've been watching Zen and comparing him to the mod of Twitch chat, the perennial mod Dimul, as he's left Lego.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if I can remember correctly, Cadus was making questions about, Lego. They've had a few swap ups, and arguably Zen is maybe not a questionable pickup, but like compared to what's going on with this game, they're beginning already, or they're just memeing. They're just memeing. Okay, we're continuing to talk. Got a bit confused there for a second as the countdown began in game, but they had like 9 players on one team. But yeah, as I was saying about Zen, it's as a soldier, he's capable, but it's all about this team players. I keep mentioning time and time again with Lego that they need to work out these kinks that they've got in their strategies and tactics, and that's when they're really going to be a force to be reckoned with to a certain degree. And how are the stats looking so far?
The stats, I'm going to be honest, I break everything I touch. I probably should not be responsible for these because I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but they just will not play ball. So I'm gonna upload them for now, and hopefully right. I can figure out how to. It is obviously my fault. The problem is not the system. The problem exists between the keyboard and the chair, and it's firmly in my hands. But nevertheless, we're going to take a look at this game. They are practicing their heavy at the moment. The entirety of yep. Exactly. This is not a strategy that Perilous have been trying in their demo reviews or anything, but I think it's a great way to warm up. You get to have that tracking ability on the heavies.
Yeah.
And you ruin the fun of the other team, I think, more importantly. They've got the mental advantage already.
Yeah, if you make them tilt early on, that's just all the more to your victory, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? But we are going to see these two teams. They do have 6 people on both sides, so I'd imagine we are going to be beginning fairly shortly. A lot of memes going off back and forth in the chat. It's also interesting as well. It's like an unwritten rule of TFTV. Just if you mention Demall, the chat will just spam mod Demall over and over again. So
and
I
the smokes,
and the smokes. Yeah, of course. I notice it every time. Like it doesn't matter what you mention him for. It will just be mod Demall over and over and over again. There was one game where it happened the entirety of the game.
Please don't start it, Bren. Don't start it. In terms of these two teams, actually, when they do get started, how are you seeing these two games going down? So we've got process and then we've got product. Lego have had a few opportunities to take product, and they look like they should be a good team on product, but in a few of the Dream Maxima qualifiers, they choked when they played it against some of the other top teams, and occasionally their composition just falls completely flat on that map. How do you see these two teams panning out on process and product?
Well, as a map, process can be quite determined by the soldiers in some way, and especially.
Hello, Bren. Did you die?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear
What's
you
going
now,
on?
Bren.
Well, I was talking for a full 5 minutes and...
5 minutes? I must have been caught in a time warp as well, Bren.
Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it was only 20 seconds, but the point I was making was, hello, I am here, I'm not dead. I don't know why this happens. I need to sort out my mumble because this does happen sometimes. But the point I was trying to make, right, here we go, was after I regained my train of thought, process being a very scout and soldier heavy map in some respects. If you take control of the high ground, especially those crates area, can be pretty much paramount in owning these mid fights. So given what I've seen of Lego, I definitely think they have the capability to potentially take some rounds, but ultimately if I was to make a bold prediction, I'd probably say it's going to go the way of Perilous.
Well, they are starting off here with a heavy fist fight to decide which team is playing on red. For some reason, I think Perilous have tried to get the mental advantage really early on in this game by demanding to play on the red team. And ETF2L rules do decree that if there is a problem with both of the teams deciding which color to play on, despite it not making any difference whatsoever, they have to have a heavy fist fight decided. So let's take a look at this one. Mike and Silentes on the pans, and they're all spamming Putis absolutely to the max. In the meantime, Zen and As are taking a 1v1 with As playing the health kit. but Thalash has fallen fairly weak here along with Mike. Mike might be the first casualty. Down goes Mike. Doesn't have the deathmatch advantage on the Putis class. But they've actually found Zen in the backfield, and he goes down. This is definitely going to Lego, though. Oh, goodness me. An opportunity there for Ast to clean up, as he normally does, but couldn't make it happen.
I saw an opportunity there. Ast was... he had the opportunity. I'm sure all those hours in pub-heavy gameplay, especially playing with the pan as a weapon, it could have definitely gone basically either way. I'm very confident in Ast's ability to take those 1v4 heavy pan fights, but ultimately Lego do win, and they are going to gain this mental advantage as we're running into this game.
They certainly are. Yeah, they're going to be playing on the red team. I don't know why they're so attracted to the red team. I do actually, when we go to product, I'm almost sure that we're going to have this on product as well, because Lego are very particular about which side they play on product. If they've been scrimming on a certain side, because the map is symmetrical and all mirrored, they do like to carry on that one. Oh, asymmetrical, yes, of course. No, symmetrical. It has
symmetrical.
It has an order of mirrored symmetry, right? Am I mad?
If we look at it from a bird's eye view perspective, I'm going right from the sky. It's mirrored but not symmetrical. Yeah, it's asymmetrical. As David was saying.
Yeah.
Listen to the guy who's doing computer science at university.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. My I'm wrong again, but it's all right though. There's plenty of time for me to be wrong because people are dropping from the server and all sorts. So hopefully this game is going to be starting fairly shortly. But I believe that David has whispered in our ear. I do love it when David whispers in my ear, don't you, Bren? That the game is going to be going live in less than 90 seconds, so grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, because the game is about to begin, and this one could be incredibly important in deciding how the top end of ETF2L pans out this season.
What's the legal amount of heavies you can have on one team?
That would be one. It's
heavy. Only one? Okay, right.
It's unfortunate, I know, but only one heavy at the moment in the ETF2L. But we have gone live, and no heavies, Bren. No heavies to mid, which thank our lucky stars.
No Putis today, guys, I'm afraid, but this is the mid-fight that's going to be kicking off straight away. Mid-fight number 1 of map number 1 between Lego and Perilous Gaming, and already Dr. Phil getting to the mid-fight in a very rapid fashion, straight away, getting off that early damage, trying to get off those early stickies, and already looking at this, taking a lot of spam on the side of Lego as they're really just trying to get an edge into this game straight away. And still, here we go, Josh with the big bomb forward, going to be trying to make some plays happen. Silentes on 6 HP, just escaping. They did actually bring down Dr. Phil as well, so that's 1 frag on their side, and they're still dropping a lot of players on 2 down now on either side. Dr. Phil and Zen still down on the side of Lego. Ast hits up some beautiful shots onto Josh, but all in all, quite a slow-paced mid-fight coming out from both these teams, and quite methodical in some ways.
Alle was so far forward, he was just chomping at the bit trying to get into them. It's a good job he hit that pipe on izon at the end, otherwise I think he would have tried to chase all the way to choke there and take both scouts up. For some reason on that mid-fight he was just determined to go balls deep and see if he could catch everybody. It worked out for them, they did come out with the mid-fight, but they didn't manage to catch Condom, and so his Uber stays up. And I think we'll probably see a double sack here from Perilous. If they can take control of lobby and pick izon, then that might be enough, and they'll try and push it through the right-hand side. But izon is on sniper at the moment, and there's a potential for one of them to fall if they drop into his sight line.
This is interesting. Now Mike just misses the shot in the nick of time. Mike's going to be getting very far forward, going to be trying to pick up that frag onto izon. In the end, he just surfs away in the nick of time, so he is going to basically save his life in the end. And there's a little bit of class checking going on there as Josh was just swapping around. So yeah, he checked if they were running Pyro. Great little play by Josh. Yeah, an absolute classic off class that we do never see in Protest Last when they're pushing into. But you know, here we go. They're still trying to basically get a little bit of edgeway into this lobby area, basically trading a lot of spam, getting some information for the team, and playing it as slowly and safely as possible without dropping any players. And they do know izon is on that left side, so they don't really want to peek it too much. They're just chipping him from across the map. Aston Thalash just trying to do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to set up these double soldiers to spam down the sentry, and then they maybe send in a sack or something like that. They've taken down the dispenser, and the sentry is going so weak. It's on about 20 health there, but is destroyed actually with a long-range sticky. But who else is destroyed? That's Silentes down, and his head no longer occupies the space on his shoulders. But they're going to push this one in anyway with only a sentry advantage and 1 down. This is really ballsy play here from Perilous.
Yeah, this is confidence at its finest, really. We do see Mike trying to basically bait in a few jumps, possibly. Here comes the Uber now being popped by both these teams. They've actually dropped a lot of players. Zen and Sorix getting frags. Well, Zen actually falling and Sorix getting a frag as well, I should say. And here we go. This is a much worse Uber coming out by the Perilous guys, but they've already got 2 frags because of it. Thalash is just about to respawn, but ultimately, I mean, look at Celente. Still deep in. He's picked up Condom. How?
He just bombed in there, took so much damage with his first rocket, surfs around the corner and manages to catch him with that second. So good work from him, and that gives them about a 40% Uber advantage, but they have this sniper as well. So Thalash is going to have to hit some headshots in this last push if this Uber advantage is going to work, and Zen is quickly building up a sentry gun as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, they picked up Dr.
falls.
Phil with a trap. Yeah, he was peeking that shutter area. I mean, he should have surely known that they were going to have a trap there, but in the end, that's a 1-pick advantage, and they've got Uber advantage to work up as well, so they can play this pretty much any way they like now, with no demo man, no fear at all, and there we go, Mike picks up the sentry gun, Thalash hits up a lovely headshot to izon, and that's going to create the massive opening that basically Perilous, they don't even have to pop their Uber, they just walk onto the point, and LEGO didn't contest it one bit.
Something else to note there as well is that izon was sniping with a really long sightline and could have picked up either a headshot or a fully charged body shot there onto Kos, and Kos was only on 95% but just thought this is worth it and went for it and didn't pop through, didn't wait until they had the Uber charge, they just committed on the right hand side. It's like, izon, the pressure is on you, if you want to hit the shot, you hit the shot and we'll back out and we'll retain control of second. And so Perilous just taking the risk, assessing the situation, came out with an excellent last push.
And now we do see the mid-fight once again kicking off, full force ahead. Josh actually half and Dr. Phil Zen with the big bomb forward is going to get finished up by Thalash in the end of all people. And now here we go, this aggression by LEGO is getting punished a little bit as they have dropped Dr. Phil as well. Josh is currently trying to make some plays happen behind the entire enemy team. He's actually on no health at all, he's going to pick up that health pack, but Perilous, they're basically charging deep in and already going to be taking up that second point. Josh is still behind them, so I mean they are aware of this and they are going to be keeping mention onto this. But I mean, look at this aggression coming out by Perilous Sideshow. They're already in, and look at Mike, so deep.
Oh, but Dr. Phil hits a double air shot on him in order to block that bomb. I like the play there from Perilous. They waited until they had got all their players forward and they had secured the position on second. Realized that Condom was fairly far back and just throw one player in before LEGO get the rest of their spawns up. And Mike's already back on the field. It didn't stop them whatsoever. So despite the fact that he got double air shot there and didn't come out with anything, it really didn't. It wasn't a bad play at all. It was well thought through. But now they're still in a situation where it's Uber v Uber. Last time we saw them fix this just by taking an Uber v Uber trade on the right hand side, backing off and then pushing Celentus in afterwards. Caught Condom unawares and he fell. So they've actually found a pick onto Josh as well, who was all the way behind, still really from the mid fight. So the question is now, do they try and go for this Uber v Uber push again with the player advantage this time, or are they going to go for a sack?
Well, it looks like they're feeling confident because that's exactly what they look like they want to do from the right side. They're going to be trying to basically pick up these frags, and if they can focus that izon on heavy, this push could be doable, but ultimately they're not really getting much from it. And here we go, Uber going to be popped off. They do manage to pick up Zen of all people. Sorix is also going to finish up Celentes, so it's a 1v1 trade right now, and it's a much better Uber coming out by the side of LEGO, and they've already picked up Kos, and alle is going to fall once again as well. Us doing his darndest to try and bring down Dr. Phil, but it's not going to be enough in the end. And looking at Thalash, he's just hiding around that corner. Now this is where the potential to plays comes into effect, and they have actually spotted him. Dr. Phil hits up one pipe, and Thalash has no choice but to back out. He's on 7 HP. Oh, finally! Oh, who was that? Was that Mike?
That was Mike spamming from lobby. He did so much damage to Dr. Phil there, Thalash, that Mike was able just to help him out, spam from lobby, and pick that up. And that's real credit to Mike as well there, though, because you don't often see that, even at the top level. Teams don't often help their teammates when they're in that 1v1 situation just by spamming from another part of the map, and it, as you saw there, it adds so much value to those individual plays.
Absolutely, and finally, once again, we do see the Putus class coming out on the side of Thalash. Lovely bit of heavy, and I mean, what do you think? What do you make of this Sideshow? What do you think they're getting at here?
This is the Happy Call strategy, isn't it? Where I mean, the heavy is perfect on process for pushing last, because in a slow push, you've got him just a 450 heavy to fall back to once you've already got position with your Uber charge. And if LEGO do decide to push out here, it's really difficult to stop a Tomislav heavy on top of the Spire when he has the height advantage and the 450 health. So it gives you a great flexibility to both defend really, really easily, and also gives you a bit of added mobility, not mobility, sorry, but a bit more added stability on last push.
So Josh has actually off-class to the spy, so he does know what they're getting at. Izon did fall there. He was on sniper, very aggressive in that lobby. And Perilous, they're not wasting any time at all. Look at how deep they're already in. Celentes, big bomb forward, going to be trying to get off that early full. And Lego, they finally do pop it in the end. And this fight is still kicking off indeed. Sorik's going to be picking up Celentes. And here we go, Thalash on heavy. This is where the magic really starts to happen now as they're picking up all these frags. Mike on the back lines is putting so much damage. And here we go. Look at that. Was that a 4k from Thalash? It was a 3k. And alle finishes up the 4th one as well. So
Thalash gives
as you
us a
said,
in chat.
oh my goodness. As you said, just absolutely destructive force when you're pushing heavy onto last in the right circumstances.
Yeah, the Ruber was so much worse as well. They took in Celentes and alle just to make sure that they got the counter Ruber popped out from Lego, because otherwise the entire push is wasted. So they just add another person into the Uber. They don't take a solo, just to ensure that Condom does pop his Uber charge off. Get a worse one, but don't drop anybody, and then just repush with Thalash. It worked perfectly.
Yeah, and now here we are. The mid-fight kicking off once again. This is the 3rd one of map number 1 so far. Josh has actually taken so much spam, and he's actually going to be the first to pay with his life. Izon also picking up Thalash in the process, and now Phil is a little bit forward, caught out of position there. alle finishes him up with a quick and easy little pipe, but before putting out a little bit of damage onto Koss, and still, the fight's still kicking off, but Condom now, he's in a bit of a sticky situation. Sorix is pretty much the only buffer between him and Perilous, and I mean, are they really looking to chase this quite deep, or, I mean, yeah, alle was thinking about it, but no, they're just going to cap up this mid-fight and let Condom get out, which is probably the smarter and safer play to do.
And they've had excellent success on these mid-fights. It actually looked like Lego had the better end of that until right at the end there, where the scouts weren't deciding to play the heals for Lego, and instead they took too aggressive of a position over the point, and As was able to clean up, as he does so well. But once again, we see Perilous unable to chase down Condom, who has escaped from these mid-fights admirably, given that his team have lost them every single time. Yeah, unlike Admirable. Yeah. Admirably escapes, but the adjective does not imply that he is like Admirable.
There we go. So that's one pick, as Celentes was, I believe, going for a sack attempt there. But I mean, Lego, they look like they want to. alle just catches Josh out before his fight even begins with that sticky trap. Absolutely demolishes him, and now that is going to stave off the aggression for now from Lego. And here comes Mike now. Big Bomb 4 going to be trying to create those distraction plays. He is just really just going to slip back into the sewer area, just making Lego feel a little bit uneasy, you know. Maybe question their lifestyle. But, yeah, other than that, it's this classic scenario that we do see, 100% Uber on both sides, Sideshow.
Perilous just poking into PC here, but the positioning from Lego is going to dominate anyone from Perilous who decide to come in there. Celentes is making a prod in once again. Did a lot of damage to izon and Zen, but they've got their heal close to PC that they can easily transition over there and try and catch anybody from Perilous that goes aggressive. So I think they would have much more success trying to come from sewers and maybe send in Celentes after they fake push over grass, or perhaps just literally sacking in one of their scouts and switching Thalash over to sniper might be the correct play in this situation, because it's going to be very difficult for them to generate a pick and PC unless Zen gifts it to them. He's so far ahead of the rest of his heals at the moment. Oh my
goodness. Looking at this now, yeah, he's been completely caught out of position, but there's a lot of rockets being missed on both these teams. And they've actually traded a frag, and they're actually getting the better end of this, really. Lego taking a 2 for 2, and if they get out with that frag there, is izon actually going to get out alive? I think he is, but Celentes with a big bomb forward, going to be trying to create some damage and create some space for his team. And ultimately, a very scrappy engagement kicking off in well, the IT area there.
Yeah, both of them lose their aggressive scouts and the roamer, so they took the trade. I thought Zen might get caught, but Zen was actually unseen in his little hiding spot, so got the initial rocket onto Mike there and was able to come out, you know, with a reasonable trade. If you're trading 2 for 2, it probably favors Perilous, but they also did a fair amount of damage to the rest of the team, so they weren't able to capitalize off it. But Thalash has gone sniper now, as has izon, and they're both going to be looking over this choke area, and there's a lot of people in the sniper sight line here for izon. Mike's just stood still.
Oh my goodness, yeah, there we go. He's just bot Mike in the chat, please. And here we go. Oh, Thalash finishes him up anyway. The counter frag coming out now. And this is basically a 1-for-1. I mean, Mike going down as a much bigger pick than the sniper pick. And here we go, straight away. They're trying to play this in this IT area. They're already picking up Zen. Ast with the 2k, picking up Zen and Sorix in the end. Domination spree coming out by Thalash there as he's picked up the assist on that kill. And still, this is so much room to breathe now for Perilous. They can literally take all of this room. Dr. Phil's basically just doesn't want to contest this whatsoever. He's going to be peeking it slowly but surely. They've actually picked up izon as well. Look at that bomb by Celentes. Absolutely destroying them, and that's 3 very quick frags. 2 of them are going to be getting respawns fairly shortly, but this is the Uber that's going to be popped in, Sideshow.
Koss has taken a damage here. He's only on 40 health, so he's going to have to back off. He's telling Silentes to get out as well, who's going to leave through lobby. There was potential there for LEGO to try and capitalize on that because izon's going to respawn in about 3 seconds. But they know that Thalash is still on sniper, so Perilous perfectly happy just to stay outside because Thalash is going to generate those picks and give them a better situation to work with. They don't have to repush off an Uber like that with the sniper, but there are quite a few situations here where LEGO's players are just getting caught out unawares. We've seen izon get caught on sniper a few times, and he just got caught on scout there as well as he was trying to escape through rollout. So there's a little bit of a lack of cohesion with some of these LEGO players as they're trying to escape from uber advantage situations. But overall, they've managed to not bleed that many people. It is still only 2-0 down for them, and there's 16.5 minutes remaining, so plenty of chance for a comeback if they manage to collect themselves and get into this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now we do see Sorex on sniper this time, and he's going to be trying to slow peek this corner. He's basically trying to pick up one single frag for LEGO to potentially come back from this. But you got to remember, there's a 2-0 lead on the side of Perilous right now, and they are basically just they could feel no pressure at all to push or make any plays whatsoever. It's a hefty lead with 16 minutes on the clock remaining, and this is of course the first map, so I mean they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable, and LEGO maybe on the back burner a little bit, feeling the pressure perhaps, and we do see Mike here getting a bit caught out there in that lobby areas, and Perilous, they're just taking all of this room in this lobby area straight away. Looking at this.
Now, something about LEGO is that Josh has absolutely no problems whatsoever taking an Uber charge out of process last, so he's very proactive in how he wants to push out from last, but in comes Silentes, who's going to bring the fight to them.
Oh my goodness.
Condom instantly. So Condom just caught with his back against the wall, quite literally there, and this one's going to be really difficult for LEGO to push out with.
Yeah, and izon is going to be basically pushing straight into that sewer area. He's going to be basically driving a few of the members of Perilous back and trying to basically create some havoc and potentially get the kill on Silentes as he's just spawned. But he has spotted him, so I think he's too quick for his games, and he is going to basically not really get much out of it. And Mike has spotted him. They do know where he is. So that's going to be basically a nagging feeling at the back of their minds now. But they do have this hefty Uber advantage. They want to basically push off as soon as potentially possible. And here we go, straight, and they've just walked past a massive sticky trap. Not even spotting it. He's actually picked up an ast with it in the end. My goodness, that could have been absolutely disastrous. But here we go. Uber going to be popped out now, and it's a huge Uber at that. And Condom, he's only 15% away from actually getting his own now. So if they basically, Perilous, they need to get these frags, but they've already dropped 3 players already, pushing into this last point. And here comes the Uber. Condom just gets it in the nick of time. They're going to be basically punishing Perilous so badly for that push now. They did not focus down Condom at all when they should have, and there's the kill bind coming out by Cost. That was pretty much a full wipe, because Ast only just got respawned.
Yeah, as soon as Ast got caught in that sticky trap, the push was over, but also alle played it really poorly as well, just bombed into the sentry, got rocked up in the air, and all of his position was denied, so they weren't able to get the pick onto Condom whatsoever. And you know, once you drop your pocket scout as well, you're lacking a lot of finishing power. So LEGO are really using this momentum very, very well. They've managed to take mid already. They had izon on the back cap instantly as soon as they realized the push was going. alle catches him with a sticky trap though.
Look at Mike, look at Mike, look at Mike! 1 rocket, 2 rockets, he's picked up Condom. No problems for that man. You can count on him when the pressure gets to it. And that is their Uber advantage gone, Sideshow. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but my goodness.
No,
what a play by Mike.
A big play from Mike there, because that absolutely saves them from an Uber disadvantage push into last, and it gives them the Uber advantage to push out from last as soon as Mike spawns in 3 seconds. So this one's going to be interesting. Of course, it's always difficult to push out from last on any map when you only have an Uber advantage. Teams are starting to do it a little more now. Teams used to be just really scared to do it against the sniper, etc. So they'd often let these advantages slip away. But Perilous are going to go for this one. They're going to try and push out from bottom. It's a difficult task though.
Oh, they've already got that one frag onto izon, and here comes the Uber that's going to be played out by Perilous. You're going to try and take full advantage of this, as we do see alle basically trying to get that spam in that choke area, the big wrap around, and they are taking this actually quite well. There's a lot of momentum that Perilous could gain here, but they're getting quite a lot of spam basically from LEGO, quite a lot of harassment as well, and we do see them. They are going to be able to cap up this mid fight, but Condom, Sideshow, he's slowly accrued up that Uber charge, and it looks like they want to play off it.
Yeah, they're coming back in. Dr. Phil hits 2 nice stickies onto alle. alle forced to jump away. They've taken so much damage from Zen, though. Mike is bossing Zen in these 1v1s, and he's now linked up with Silentes, both of the soldiers behind in sewers, and in they come. They're going to re-engage here, and Perilous weren't caught in the Uber. alle bombs forward, but can't really catch anybody. Didn't jump right in, but Dr. Phil's been juggled up here, and there's Sorex, Josh, and Condom getting out and trying to preserve their lives so that they can defend last.
Yeah, picking up Sorix really, just the cherry on top of the cake there at the end of the day. And look at this, Ast is so deep in this lobby area already, taking up all this room for his team and this territory. I mean, with 2 picks like that, you want to take off this, take the momentum straight away. And already, look at that, Mike behind enemy lines, all at cap time, and ultimately that's going to translate straight into the round. No problems whatsoever for Perilous there. 3-0 is the scoreline with only 12 minutes left on the clock.
And so that round essentially came down to, they pushed out of last with the Uber advantage, but izon was way too far forwards on Sniper. They knew that they had Uber disadvantage, and izon just fed himself into the maw of Perilous. And then they failed the repush on mid. So they need to stop feeding players, just losing and bleeding players when they have either advantage or disadvantage. They just need to position themselves correctly.
Yeah, man, now this is a lot of aggression actually coming out now as you do see the big bump forward. You know, some lovely rockets onto Thalash, but ultimately falling in the end. Josh really not getting much out of it, and 2 players down for Perilous. Lego have got a lot of room to breathe, and here comes Mike on the back lines, missing those rockets against Condom. Hits 2 lovely ones, but it's not unfortunately enough to finish him off as Condom surfs away, and he's going to pick up that pack. And ultimately, this is a bit of a turn of events, a bit of a 180 now as Lego. That's actually going to be the first mid fight they've won, and all of this momentum they're just pushing straight into that second point. Don't want to give up anything. Ast may get caught out of position. Indeed, he does. Lovely little pickup by Sorix there, Sideshow, and they're just happy to cap this up. And well, it's 100% Uber on both sides, so there's not really a potential to push off it just yet, but they're going to be happy with winning that mid at least.
I feel Lego actually could have pushed off that one. They got the pick on Ast incredibly late. He's still got 8 seconds to spawn. If they could have pushed 10 seconds ago, really, as soon as they got the pick on Ast. Just left one person to cap, and they would have had a 2-player advantage and nobody covering this right-hand side. But now they're trying to take it in, and now it is too late because it's Uber v Uber and 6v6. The Uber popped out way earlier from Condom. Kos is just milking this one, and he's got such a better Uber charge. The question is now whether they can catch anybody because Josh still has a ton of health.
Yeah, that was really incredibly played by Perilous there, and I know exactly the positioning from them was absolute perfection there, right into that panic room. Going to be kiting them for days, as you mentioned, and got the, well, an incredible Uber out of it. And Lego, they don't look like they want to give this up too much. They're still hovering around this lobby area, but without any picks and without the Uber to push off already, actually, yeah, picking up Sorix, and that's another one as well, as Thalash is going to be picking up izon on the end. 2 frags, it's basically handing them this second point on the plate. And Perilous, they're going to be hard-pressed to really mess this up now, as they're pushing all the way inside.
Salentes takes a lot of room on the point and is going to be waiting for an arrow. There's potential for Zen to do something from PC, but I think he's just going to back out with the rest of his team, given that they had both scouts dead. They do get the forward spawns though, so Lego have an opportunity to stabilize. But with only 10 minutes and 3-0 down, they really have to try and make this one work now. The ball is quite firmly in Lego's court. They have to try and push off mid here and secure something, anything, with this Uber charge.
As you mentioned, 9 minutes, 30 seconds remaining on the clock, and they are 3 rounds down, and they really need to make some plays happen. And it's getting to the point where, you know, they're going to start to feel the pressure a lot more than they were a good 5 minutes ago now, and the clock is really kicking down. And even though that mid-fight that they won, even though this was the first mid-fight that they'd won out of the 4 mid-fights, still they didn't really translate it, and they're not capitalising off these plays. And as you can see, I mean, they're pushed all the way back up to this midpoint, and they're going to be hard pressed to find any openings that Perilous are going to give them now to play off potentially and to you know, get stuck into the second point.
Mike tends to get sucked in fairly deep in PC, so there's a potential here for Sorix and Zen to pick him up, but instead they've gone over sewers, and they're going to be facing all 5 players. Mike has picked up Zen as well, so this is disastrous here for Josh. He's taken so much damage, he's just going to have to leave. He actually jumps behind, but just gets levitated in the air by Ast and Thalash, who are picking out that pocket perfectly. And now they've got a 2-player advantage, because Mike just rocked Zen, who was unable to get help from Sorix in the PC area, and this is the swing of momentum that Lego did not need.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just dropping players like flies now. They got no choice but to back all the way out of this mid-fight if they don't want to lose any more players and, you know, basically give Perilous any more momentum. I keep using the word momentum, but it's absolutely correct in this setting, really. Perilous are absolutely rolling them time and time again from the mid-fights all the way to the last points. And now, just when you thought Lego were starting to come back a little bit, it's just completely reversed on them once again, as we do see basically a slight Uber advantage on Kos. Whether or not it's to work off is yet to be seen, as it's only about 25% roughly. So
Lego have to push it though, Bren. Lego have to push this one,
yeah.
even though they have an Uber disadvantage. They have to try and send people back through PC or something when Perilous pushing through choke. They have to try and abuse these flanks on process, because otherwise, I mean, they're stuffed. There's 7.5 minutes left. They have to start winning rounds now, so this has got to be an opportunity for LEGO to push. And Perilous, if they're smart, they'll just try and hold on to this one, because pushing forwards now and potentially throwing it all away when they're 3-0 up and the time is ticking down would be a bit of a mistake. But there's no trying to make a play for LEGO. It seems like they don't have a game plan at the moment. They are transitioning people over to sewers, though, slowly but surely making their way forwards with the Uber charge here.
Well, yeah, LEGO, as we've mentioned time and time again, going to be feeling the pressure now, feeling the heat, slowly, basically getting choked to death now by Perilous. And here we go, we're going to be popped out by Josh, going to be trying to basically get the force out, trying to take this exchange, as they're basically leading Perilous through the gaping mouth of that choke area, and not getting anything from it again. They cannot be making these plays. They need to get at least a pick. They need to play off this. Mike actually fell to double digits of health there in that sewer area, but ultimately, in the IT area I should say, but ultimately again not making any plays. And here we go, Josh with a big bump forward, going to be trying to get that damage off onto alle, and this could be absolutely critical if he plays it correctly. Josh has taken so much damage already, and they just cannot get any frags at all. The positioning by Perilous is absolutely superior. And now here we go, Mike with a big bump forward, going to be getting up one frag onto Zen, going to be trying to make these plays happen. Still Josh, absolute desperation plays onto alle, trying to make this happen, but they've dropped so many players already. 2 down, Zen and izon, 1 scout being lost for the LEGO side. It's not looking good, but this is one of the scrappiest fights we've seen so far, and it's looking like LEGO are slowly but surely trying to basically win this, and that's Uber going to be popped out by both these teams now, as this fight has really just gone on that long, and Perilous now, they're actually having to back out from this fight.
Yeah, and this is probably the best way that LEGO are going to have an opportunity to come back into this game, is just by forcing every fight to get as messy as humanly possible. Where is Salentes, though? He's getting ready for a bomb now, looking like he's good, and he's got a bomb. He's trying to get rockets into combo, slams him in the head and takes him down with that second one as well, and Josh gets cleaned up. So this is looking awful here for LEGO. They've got to try and make something happen. Zen is bombing onto Koss, but Koss gives him the jukes. Is he really going to be able to escape? No, excellent play by Zen. Follows him all around the map there, and the players from Perilous couldn't clean Zen up fast enough. Koss does fall. However, 3 players down from LEGO, and this is still not looking good even after Zen's play.
5 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock, and now it's really basically Perilous. They can take this any way they want now. With 3 rounds advantage over LEGO, they are really looking like they're in a superior spot to make this any way they want. And LEGO, yeah, you can tell they're starting to get desperate. They're just rolling deep all the way into this mid-fight, and they're going to be trying to take this fight straight away with LEGO, exchanging a lot of spam between them. Sticky's coming out all the way from Dr. Phil, going to be trying to basically pick up any frags they can. They actually do manage to pick up Mike, and this could be the beginning of a new start for LEGO, as they've already picked up 3 frags, make that 4, absolutely cleaning up, but they've actually, oh my goodness, Salenta's on the back line, picked up Condom, and that's exactly what they did not need now.
Yeah, I mean, that was an excellent push from LEGO, and really their repushes into mid have been the saving grace for this team. They've been able to convert the previous 3 that they've had to do, and that's excellent play from them, but unfortunately Condom dies, and that's not something they can really afford. They have to push to last anyway, because there's only 4 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. They've tried to pin off Mike in a 1v2 on the right-hand side, but Mike has won the 1v2 somehow. Takes down, like, put so much damage into both Josh and Sorex, and without those heals, they just can't contest that one. Spawners came in as well. It was desperation. They had to go for it. There was a very slim chance that it was going to work out, but they're able to regroup and maybe go for one last push here, and under the assumption that they would roll all of the rest of the rounds, they might be able to take this. But Koss has a 50% Uber advantage as well, so it's just getting more and more difficult for LEGO to come back into it.
Absolutely. Now we do see, as you mentioned, 100% Uber being held by Koss, but there is no need for them to push out from this whatsoever. They can just hold here to their heart's content, and it's all going to be on LEGO with 3 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock, with 3 rounds deficit as well. This is beginning to go into the rounds of impossibility, I believe, and I don't even think it's actually doable for them now at this point. But still, LEGO, they have to try, they have to make this attempt, and already we see them pushing from this sewer area, trying to make these plays happen. Uber's going to be popped out by both these teams now, as they're looking to take this any way they can. Zen actually craters to his own death there, and that's the first frag to go in this engagement. Sora's going to be picking up Thalash of all people, and now here we are. Perilous starting to look a little bit shaky in some areas. They're taking a lot of spam. Izon's going to be the one to finish up that frag onto alle, and everyone on Palace, well, the remaining players at least, are going to be escaping of double digits of HP. And here comes Josh now, already playing that point, going to be trying to basically get this cap, and if they manage to get this, this could potentially be doable for LEGO, and it's pretty much all on Izon now. He needs to be making these plays. Dr. Phil's going to be doing his darndest to try and back him up, but ultimately it's not going to be enough. It's just Zen and Sorex left alive. Sorix has just got respawns. And Zen, he's hiding around that corner. He has to try and make a play now as with a big bomb forward onto the point. But it's not going to be enough. Sideshow, he just gets completely destroyed.
And once again, I mean, they're forced to go for these plays that are really high risk, but they had to do it. There was only 3 minutes left, and the time has ticked past mathematical possibility here. Condom calls the GG in chat as well, and there's no chance now for LEGO to get back into this game. They can attempt to stabilize themselves and get a bit of their play going as they move towards product, but the entirety of their thoughts have to be on the next map. And while I was impressed sometimes with how they were able to coordinate things when they just decided to ball up and push, in quite a few situations when they wanted to take a team fight and took it aggressively, they got the better end of it, but mostly that was when the Ubers weren't in the equation. Even though they got the better end of the actual Uber exchanges a lot of the time, LEGO, the after Uber setup for Perilous was a lot better here. So perhaps the trick is, for LEGO, just to ignore the Ubers completely and just try and dry push this team whenever possible. Maybe we'll see that more on product.
Yeah, well, as you were saying, we do have to basically... Well, we're going to watch these two teams just DM it out, you know, try and basically get a more respectable scoreline. They have completely destroyed Perilous in the end. Josh playing for the logs there, I believe that was like a 3k for him. Sorix picking up the other 2 frags, but yeah, ultimately with 1 minute on the clock, it is running into the side of dead time. And now this is it, basically. You got to basically get the correct mindset for this for the next game, which is going to be product. Beyond that, that's one more drop for Silentus there, as he just basically plows Condom into the ground with a sync rocket jump from him. And yeah, it's really getting into the right mindset now, because you've got to be tilting after that play, especially after you were showing such promise as well. LEGO, it wasn't as if they got completely demolished. It was just, as you mentioned, losing some of those Uber exchanges, maybe pushing a little bit too badly, and Perilous just playing them like a fiddle, really, in most cases, actually, just kiting them for days.
Yeah, Perilous weren't bleeding people as well, which has been a problem when they play against some of these top teams. They can occasionally, I'm not really sure what it is, maybe the game gets to their head or something, and they end up playing a little bit messy, but at no point here were Perilous bleeding people and dying. Occasionally they lost a team fight and they all lost it together and died, but it wasn't like LEGO were able to push an advantage really far just because they were able to pick off one person here, one person there, and like desync the spawn waves. But they were able to do the opposite to LEGO. They were able to pick off a few players who were too far forwards and were just getting caught by the aggression, especially Mike and Silentes just able to pick off these scouts whenever they're too far forwards. So on product, that's going to be a real issue, because if you're not playing incredibly disciplined on product and you end up bleeding and desyncing those spawn waves, then it's going to be bad times for LEGO. So I think when they get onto product, they will be slightly differently, but I'm worried that LEGO are just going to end up bleeding people again and again and potentially lose product off the back of that.
Do we have the logs on the stream stats? They're not showing up for me.
Well, they are for me, so bad luck for you.
I've done something wrong.
But I'm going to order by damage, and the thing that I see at the top of the table there is that Perilous Mike, who is the roaming soldier, will remind you, at the top of the scoreboard. So, I mean, he did this for Reason Gaming at I-55, and he did this, I mean, he's done this on a variety of teams that he's played for, right? But even when he's on Roma, he consistently manages to top damage, and it's crazy what this guy's able to put out. So Silentes as well, doing a decent amount of damage on that pocket roll. Not quite as good at KD, but he was also making a lot of space in the way that he played. Alle doing really well as well. But at the bottom there, Izon has got fairly low DPM and a high amount of deaths, along with Zen. So the flank for them, although Izon doesn't play on the flank, he tended to be sniping quite a lot and was occasionally playing on the flank and occasionally getting caught out, which is why I'm making reference to it. But the flank was getting caught out in quite a few of these situations. Zen is just not able to go head-to-head with Mike, and the scouts need to be more aware of their positioning, I think.
Absolutely, and it's going to be crucial now when we're moving into this into product, especially on a map that's so reliant on these scouts. And even if you overextend a little bit, playing against a team like Perilous, it's going to be really tough for LEGO, because they're going to be punishing them for every little mistake they do make. I mean, when I last watched Perilous play on product, I think I was watching them scrim at some point. It might have been for your stream actually, but I mean, what I can gather from that is they were looking a bit shaky, but it seemed to have sorted out pretty much most of the kinks in the roster. I think it was the recent takeover for basically Mike joining the roster and the swap over from Salentes and Mike to the Pocket and Roma Roll. But now that they've swapped this back, they're seeming a lot more stable. And as you mentioned before in that previous game, they're definitely not bleeding a lot of players, pretty much at all, with the exception of when they're losing these massive team fights. But it is going to be difficult for LEGO. Whether it's doable or not, I definitely still think it is doable for LEGO to win this and take this. I mean, anything can happen after watching that game from the other day. Nameless versus, who was it? It was the PC Master Race. But my goodness, yeah, it's going to be tough for them. It's definitely going to be tough for them, especially when you've got to recoup your mind and get mentally prepared for the next game after that previous loss.
So the entire match there, the entire concept of the fact that PC Master Race were able to come back from a 2-0 deficit against what's undeniably the best team at the moment in Europe with the help of the Vaccinator, right? That was what basically did it. They turned up, they were playing well, right? But the key difference was the fact that it was the Vaccinator as well.
Yeah.
And Nameless were on tilt, they didn't know how to deal with it, but they fell to that. Now, that raises some real questions for the meta on Viaduct, because although a lot of people just judge it as a gimmick, it is a fairly valid strategy, and the proof is in the pudding. So
Absolutely,
do teams start experimenting with this? Do teams try and throw away what they've previously learnt on Viaduct in order to adapt to this new and quite powerful gimmick? Or do they just try and play with the minigun the entire time? So teams have got some soul searching to do here as well, I think, on Viaduct, because a bit like the sniper on Viaduct strategy that we saw Nerd Rage run a lot of the time, and at times almost exclusively, this is the kind of thing that, if countered, would just ruin your entire playstyle, right? If your entire playstyle revolves around the Vaccinator, and the team finds out how to counter that, like Froyotech did to Nerd Rage, you're stuffed. Your entire game plan has gone out the window, and you are now a garbage team on Viaduct. But if you can make it work, and there isn't a good counter to it, you are now an incredible team. So I don't think we'll see any Vaccinator out of these teams. As far as I'm aware, neither of these teams have practiced with it or put in the work that's required to get good with that weapon. But there's the potential for other teams to start picking it up after we've seen PC Master Race with such an excellent victory over Nameless, because there's definitely a reason why the Vaccinator worked. People dismiss it as a gimmick weapon, which it obviously is a gimmick. I mean, you're putting all your pies in the same basket there. But there's definite potential with how that weapon works, especially on King of the Hill.
It is going to be interesting to see, especially because if you're a team that relies as well a lot on a certain combination of the players, so if you're a team that relies on your scouts, you rely on your soldiers. I mean, not necessarily in the case of Nameless and Perilous, because they are very all-round, very well-rounded teams, the pair of them. So in that essence, I mean, as you mentioned, it is a gimmick weapon, but clearly something was working for them. Whether or not we'll start to see teams running it is basically up to them. But I certainly hope not. Otherwise, we might start to see full-time Pyro being run or something out of the ordinary.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it would be really interesting though, right? But nonetheless, we have gone live here. Mike's going to be trying to take control of the left-hand side. It's Perilous in blue and Lego in red. They're going head-to-head, second map. Product. Mike is so aggressive. He's not backed up by any of the rest of his team. Salentes bombs in as well, trying to carry up on that damage. And Phil falls. The rest of Lego as well falling. There's only 3 players alive for them. I thought there was potential there for them to just clean up Mike and back out and re-push once they had the heals. But Sil came in just at the last second and was able to clean up on that one. So a clutch plays from Perilous just to save it at the last moment and make sure that they followed up on the damage that Mike did.
Yeah, and it was as well. Alle was a big playing factor in that. He got in some crucial. I think it was 2 stickies that basically brought everyone down to about half health. But here we go. This is the repush now by Lego, as they're already trying to basically get this cap time and get them. They will certainly attempt to, as they are basically trying to cap this without popping their Uber if they potentially can. But they're taking so much spam. Alle putting in a lot of work, just already on half health, having to back all the way out already for these heals, and not even going to get any cap time at all. And still looking at this now. They can basically play this any way they want. This passive holds all the way by this cliff area. They've actually picked up izon as well. So this is not looking good for Lego in the slightest. Josh is going to get completely shut down once again. And now Lego, they're in a very sticky situation. They have to ask themselves a few questions of how they want to play this.
They certainly do. In the previous team fights on Process, they had both of their soldiers initiating from different sides. That worked out fairly well for them, and then they were tanking the heals on the scouts. That's a classic strategy on Product here. But we haven't seen that from Zen so far. He's just content to go head-to-head with Mike on his left-hand side, and that's worrying if that's their game plan. Josh gets melted!
My goodness, and here we go. Here comes the Uber's going to be popped out pretty early on by the side of Lego, and here comes Perilous actually with their counter pop. Going to be actually be able to pick up Dr. Phil of all people, and look at alle, raining hell from above. Going to be playing down those stickies, basically destroying them and basically forcing Lego all the way out of that cliff area, straight back to their spawn. And still, they have not capped the point even once, and Perilous are in such a solid position right now. Look at this passive hold from them. They're building up the Uber. They've still got control of the point. There's no cap time whatsoever, and a minute left on the clock, Sideshow.
Yeah, they've taken on so much already. Even if Condom and his team are able to retake this point, they're at such a time disadvantage already. And Perilous don't want to give it up whatsoever. Their spam is so good here as they're defending. Mike gets caught in the tunnel a little bit, but is going to be able to pick up that little health kit. Dr. Phil now in a good position across the point, but alle makes him take a lot of damage for it. And again, they're just having so much difficulty taking room on the point without getting spammed. This is excellent spam here from Perilous.
Yeah. And already, here we go. This is the Uber going to be popped out now by Perilous, as they're going to be basically trying to force them off that point, not letting them get any cap time whatsoever. Much better Uber, however, coming out by the side of Lego, as they're going to basically try and get any frags they possibly can, and they're going to be making their way deep within enemy lines. They're going to back off, actually, because they don't want to lose any more players, which is probably the safest thing to do, as it's not too much of an Uber advantage being held by cost. So finally, we do see Lego take the point for the first time in this first round, at least. So they are going to get some cap time at least, and here we go. Big bombs forward by both these soldiers. Salentas and Mike trying to make these plays happen on the back lines. And actually, it's izon that picks up Mike with a lovely little headshot. Josh going to be finishing up Salentas as well. So this attempt, they do have a lot of cap time already. And alle's hitting some beautiful pipes, but they're just dropping so many players.
izon is doing a ton of work here actually on Sniper. He hit a headshot on Mike just as the soldiers were gearing up to go behind them and cause havoc, and that just crushed Salentas in a 2v1 as well. And then he hit a great body shot onto alle and put him down so weak, and the rest of the combo had to back out. So, oh, he's been caught though. He's going way too aggressive on the right hand side instead of sticking back on China or somewhere where he can just rain down consistent damage. Pushes himself forward, as we saw on Process, just getting ahead of himself and gets picked up. Uber's traded though, and it is better here for Lego as well. So these Uber trades are favoring Lego in all of their pushes, but the after Uber position once again better for Perilous. They've got their soldiers in a great position, and Salentas rains down that damage from above. And it's only Sorex and Zen left alive, along with the Sniper. So if izon can hit something here, they could turn the fight around, but he's just popping off shots and hasn't hit one yet.
That was an absolutely beautiful play by both the soldiers on Perilous. Their Salentas putting in a lot of work. It's actually Mike who's going to be paying of his life now. There's a very passive hold, I should say, by Perilous, as just not really wanted to risk too much here. They do have only 10 seconds left on the clock, with a hefty Uber advantage. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them give this up, but they are going to be getting a lot of spam off alle, trying to do his darndest to keep them off the point. It was actually Salentas killed himself in the process, and alle has finally picked up Sorex. At the same time, izon going to be picking up Thalash on Scout. So, I mean, this is a massive Uber advantage that cost has to work off, and spawners are going to be coming up fairly quickly as Lego are in control of the point. So this is going to be the repush now, and here comes the Uber straight away. Perilous going to be getting very deep, trying to basically bring down Dr. Phil if they can, and they do manage to do it, but they've lost so many players. Josh bringing down a lot of men behind enemy lines. izon picks up the 2k, actually finishes up Kosh with a lovely little headshot. Uber finally going to be popped out now by Lego. And they didn't even recap the point there by Perilous, so they're going to be holding on, and the clock is still going to start to kick down.
They're doing so much better with Zen on Scout and izon on Sniper, and I think the reason for this is that Zen was essentially a useless sixth man when he was on Roaming Soldier, because he was just sat there, just occasionally taking damage from Mike and then having to back off. He was utterly useless, but now that he's on Scout and izon can also snipe, this is working so much better here for Lego. They're forcing Mike to play behind as well, and Mike's taking a ton of damage. Is actually going to fall here. They're just trying to cap it out from under their noses, Perilous.
My goodness, look how weak Condom is.
Though.
They're finding so many kills indeed, yeah, and Salentas, he's still alive in this entire time. He was just jumping all the way behind them. Oh my goodness, what an absolute collapse by Perilous to finish that up. I mean, Lego, they started to bring it back towards the end, but that team fight was executed to absolute perfection to a degree.
I think the issue there was that they sent too many people back for Mike as he went behind. They sent both of the scouts back for Mike when they could have just sent Josh back. And if all they had done was send Josh back and they had both of their scouts forward with the heals to deny the push from Perilous, they would have gone much better. But they were just able to sneak that gap out from under their noses and then had all of the high ground.
Yeah, and here we are. This is another fight that's going to be kicking off straight away. Rounds number 2. We'll see if Lego can potentially get the upper hand. But already, Josh on the flank. And there's so many frags already. They picked up Thalash with the help of Dr. Phil. Finally, Ask gets the counter frag onto Josh in the end. But really, at what cost? They've dropped 2 players. They're going to have to back all the way off. And Lego going to be the ones who are going to be capping up that point for first. And that's a first so far that we've seen anyway. Finally showing a little bit of dominance. And I think Perilous is starting to feel a little bit of pressure here. But it is equal Uber on both these teams now.
Once again, they have eyes on Sniper. Mike's going to jump forwards, but gets obliterated by Zen. Great positioning from Zen there on that top rock. Shuts down Mike very early on. Celentes has found a frag onto Josh there, though, but does die in the process. So, trading with that. Izon with the fully charged body shot. And Ast coming across the point here, but not backed up by anybody else. Koss finally gets the heal beam onto him, but Ali's pretty far back as well.
Wow.
The overcharge is popped. Ali's trying to stay out of it, but will require a flash here. And now he's lost quite a bit of health as well. So, the overcharge is better for Lego. They haven't had to flash anybody in that one. And they're going to be attempting to repush this one with their spawners.
And already, look at Izon. He's made such a massive impact in this game. It's actually unbelievable. And Lego are just cleaning Perilous up, eating them for breakfast already. They're getting that dollar biscuit meal from McDonald's all day long. And here we are, already so controlling. Perilous have not capped this point once in all of these engagements. And they're taking these fights so well. And it's pretty much all on Izon. He's getting these absolute clutch headshots all day long. And just making basically magic happen for Lego.
Let's see if he can make some more magic happen as in comes the Perilous push. Sorex is going to fall on there, trying to crush this flank here. Josh is playing completely on flank. Izon is getting bodied down. Condom might get caught in as well. Thalash is on the chase. If he manages to catch Condom here, which he should, this will be a full team wipe. There goes everybody. Goodness. Only Sorex on the respawn, and that was excellently done by Perilous. Just pushed everyone down the left-hand side to make sure that Sorex and Josh fell, and at the same time, they bodied forward with their scouts and demo on the right-hand side to take care of the rest. So now they're going to forward hold as well. Pressure on Lego, because this one's going to be really difficult to break with a sniper.
Here we go, yeah, Lego trying to play it through that cliff area at the same time. A lot of players basically trying to maneuver their way in, and here comes the big bomb by Dr. Phil. He's going to be trying to hit those pipes, they're going to be missing those air shots in the end, and ultimately Perilous, they're still looking pretty hot. They've got 2 picks, they've still got Uber, and Condom really is a nice little suicide attempt by the side of Lego to try and force out the Uber, but it ultimately came to no avail as we do see them starting to move their way in, and here comes Celentes. 2 rockets, eventually not going to be basically picking up the 3rd one, unfortunately for him. So Condom is going to be on full health now, pushing with not even Uber advantage, it's just really need to retake this point, and they're looking to take it straight away with that 1 pick they've got off Celentes, and they're chasing Thalash all the way down. He's going to be getting at that health pack, but look at us! Just running down Dr. Phil. Here comes the Uber by Perilous, looking to make these plays if they potentially can. Izon still on Sniper, going to be basically forcing Perilous into these small, narrow sightlines where they're not visible to the Sniper. And still, Lego, they haven't dropped that many players, and Mike is actually going to be the one to fall here, Sideshow. Here we go, still being played. Look at Celentes. Look how deep he is behind enemy lines. He might actually pick up Dr. Phil, indeed he does. How does he get those high-value plays? I would never know. But Lego is still trying to cap this, even though they still haven't used their Uber here, Sideshow.
And this is a series of real questionable plays by Perilous. They sacked Celentes in, even though they had a full Uber advantage, and he wasn't able to pick up Condom. Even if he had, wouldn't have made that much difference. They would have just sent in a counter sack for Koss. And then they take an Uber charge when Koss is really, really far back and there's nobody forwards and committed. So I don't like that push whatsoever from Perilous. Really questionable stuff. Now Lego have managed to take down even more time on this point. There's only a minute left for them. Perilous repush has to come in.
Yeah, here we are, a lot of spam. Celentes on the backlines may do some magic for them. They haven't actually spotted him yet. Uber's going to be popped out by the side of Lego, and Koss is actually going to be the one to fall to Dr. Phil there. Beautiful little sticky placement by that man there, but here comes the refrag attempt to Celentes still behind the entirety of Lego, trying to basically create some distraction plays for them to potentially play off here, and Ali's just basically spamming those pills, hoping at least to connect some damage and maybe get a chance frag, but you know, it's not going to be that lucky. With 30 seconds left on the clock for Lego, Perilous, they need to make a play and they need to make it now, but they're eating so much spam. Dr. Phil's doing so much work. He hits off 1 lovely little pill onto alle. He may pay with his life, however, but he's going to get healed up to full health. And here we go. Perilous slowly but surely trying to cup up that point, trying to basically get at least as much time as possible, but it's alle the one to fall. He does actually get a nice little fadeaway frag there onto Zen, but Izon on Sniper is going to cause absolute havoc. He's actually hit a lovely headshot onto Mike as well. Finally going to be Izon finishes up Kosh in the air with the body shot. Here comes the Uber, going to be popped out now by Lego. They need to cap this up, and it's pretty much in the bag, and it's just Mike and Thalash really to try and do something about it. Now, Mike is going to be sending himself into the air on the backline. Salentes traded up, but there's so many frags happening all over the place, and it's looking like Perilous, they're actually going to be winning this.
They're probably going to win it with their superior spawns, but how long are they going to be able to hold on to it? They have to hold on to it here for 1 minute and 15 seconds without losing the point once. This is a really hard task, even though they have a huge Uber advantage, because Koss actually got a saw at the end of that one. So this one's going to be very difficult for Perilous. alle takes a lot of damage, and in comes the rest of Lego now. Watching Phil powering forwards across the point, putting sticky after sticky in front of him, just pumping out the damage, doing excellent work. Pipes flying in! Managed to pick up Salentes and Mike. Huge stuff from Phil. Oh my god, so much damage, and they managed to retake the point there. That was Phil.
That was an unbelievable display, and you know, Perilous, you've got to be feeling the pressure now if you're in Air Boots. You don't want to drop this game, because this is, as we mentioned before this game even started, it's so important that they get this, because this is the potential for the #1 seed spot here. And even if Lego win this, it's really going to be another even game, but here we are. The mid-fight's going to be kicking off straight away, this time opting for izon, rolling out to this sniper to try and contest with this. Salentes on the backline is going to be trying to take care of him to the best of his abilities, but really it's actually Condom who actually is going to be falling to alle, and here we go. Look at these frags coming out by Perilous. They picked up so much damage. Ast and Thalash and alle putting in all this work, along with the soldiers of Perilous just putting in so much spam, and eventually going to be capping up this midpoint. Going to be getting the time running down now.
I'm a big fan of how loose Mike and Salentes are playing, just taking the buffs and just trying to burst out down one side and see if they can pick him up. But that was a very shoddy forward hold there. They didn't have anybody forwards apart from alle, and he's just overextends massively on that right-hand side. Don't quite know what the game plan was there. Salentes has picked up the sniper in the backfield, but really it was Condom that he wanted to go for. They have the Uber charge though, and Thalash is going to take this one forward. Big meat shots onto Dr. Phil. Zen's going to fall as well here, but they haven't been able to catch Condom, who has a 60% Uber advantage now. So in is going to come the push from Lego. Mike's still in house. I don't know whether they know that he's there. He's going to back off now, though, and they're just going to attempt to force with a bit of spam. Oh no, Mike is going to hide forward.
He is just hiding, yeah.
He's right in front of a window, though.
Oh, he has spotted him. Okay, let's see if he can hit these rockets off, actually. He's falling incredibly weak. He's on 21 HP, and he's actually going to fall to Sorex. He finishes him up with a chip shot from across the map. Thalash behind enemy lines is going to get one lovely little meat shot onto izon there to bring him down. But ultimately, Josh is the one to pick up that counter frag as well. So Lego, finally, things start to go their way a little bit with this round, as they have capped up this point. And we will soon see if Perilous are in a position to retake this, but they do not have Uber. Condom does. They need to be careful of any suicide attempts that Perilous are potentially going to go for, but they're so close to Uber, they may just look to push straight in and try and take it without any plays at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to try and walk forwards here and see if they can get a Uber force out of Condom. Salentes in. Condom! Mike is right on his head as well, but they're going to pick up both soldiers and a scout in return for this one. And Dr. Phil just using that opportunity to power forward, see if he can pick up alle. But they've forced that Uber charge out, and now they have the Uber advantage. And the time is about 2 minutes for both teams here. So if Perilous can retake control of the point, they're in a good position to take this third round.
This is absolutely critical the way Perilous play this. They do have Uber advantage, and still 2 minutes basically on both of these teams' clocks. Currently Lego in control of this point. Salentes trying to make some plays happen with that bomb. Zen's going to be the one to finish him up in the end, and here we go. Big bomb forward by Mike, actually going to be trying to create that spam, trying to take up as much room as possible. Here comes the Uber now. Perilous trying to play this to the fullest of their advantages, but Lego, they want nothing to do with this. Look how far out they already are. They're just playing this to absolute perfection. Condom's almost got Uber. There's no reason to risk any dying and delaying the inevitable. And here comes the repush. Sideshow, as they're already pushing straight onto this point.
And Perilous taking so much damage here, but in comes Salentes, got a load of damage onto Condom. Condom is so weak here, everyone is going to have to fall out. Dr. Phil as well, on 10 HP. Surely someone can find him, but Mike's ignored him. alle finds him anyway, though, and down goes the devil for Lego.
Oh my goodness, okay. Yeah, this was a really quite sloppy by Lego, but they've lost so many players. They are going to have the superior respawns, and Condom still does have Uber. He almost went down to Mike there, who was just spamming him up from that balcony area, but ultimately, it's an incredibly even round from both these teams. Still 1 minute 30 pretty much on both these teams clocking down. This time Perilous with the ones in control of the point, and basically trying to bring down a lot of early spam, trying to get that one pick off. They can play off it, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But now we are going to see 100% Uber being held by both these teams. Mike is going to be the first to fall to Dr. Phil in the end. Josh falling very weak as well, and here comes the Uber exchange by both these teams. Thalash going to be trying to take that 1v1 on that cliff area against Zen. He is going to be dying in the process, however, and Silentes, he might get caught out here as well. He's on 19 HP, he needs to get an arrow, he is going to be able to get it, and izon finishes a pass with a lovely little headshot there.
Whoa, great play from Silentes to hit that rocket at the end and trade with Sorix, because he was caught way out of position. But now with Thalash on Soldier, I would actually like to see either Silentes or Mike switch off to Scout in this situation, because they're both very, very capable scouts as well. But instead, I think they're going to stick with this double Soldier thing. The issue here for Perilous, look at that, down goes Dr. Phil. The issue for Perilous has been that with these super flexible soldiers, they need Thalash to stick much closer to their heels. And at the moment, he's still going for plays that he shouldn't be while he's on Scout. At the moment, though, hitting those headshots, getting those frags on Sniper, which is exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, Thalash really being a decided factor, but it's actually izon to one to pick up that frag onto Ast of all people. Mike as well are going to be picking up izon in the end, so that's going to be the sniper threat removed. Nice little attempt by Zen there to try and get the force out onto Cost, but ultimately to no avail. As Perilous, they look like they're in a position to really recap. Look how deep alle is! Look how deep he is! Condom on 30 HP! He might be able to pick him up. Can he do it? He's actually picked up the health back, and here comes Silentes. Going to be trying to help out his friend. One rocket is not going to be enough as Condom serves away expertly on 19 HP. He needs to be so careful here. Silentes the only one who's going to be paying for his life in that engagement, but my goodness, that was too close for comfort.
Certainly was, and Koss is going to be caught here by an excellent bomb from Josh. They're going to attempt to use the super aggressively, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. Everybody's positioned so far back from, and the health on Perilous really isn't good enough to go for this chase. They need to start backing up quickly, though, because they're just taking a fight that they're not going to be able to win there. Sorix and Mike dueling it out on the left, but it's izon who ripped off Perilous Koss's head, and goodbye to their medic.
Holy Christ, and here we go. This is the cleanup duty by Lego. They need to get this cap now, but they are definitely getting the frags as Josh is on cleanup duty today. He's working the janitor shift, and Mike is still behind enemy lines. He could potentially make something big happen. Here's off one rocket. Can he hit the second? Whoa! See you later, Condom. He finally gets brought down by izon, but Lego going to be in control of this point, but all it takes is one push now by Perilous, and they are the victors of this second, or the third round, I should say, of this second map, as they are looking to work their way and wiggle their way into it now, Sideshow.
They've actually played this really well, Perilous, because all they have to do, they've got 14 seconds plus all of the overtime in order to take this, and they have the spawn advantage. This is almost definitely going to go in their way, and that is the capture. As soon as Mike picked up Condom there, the round was done. They had to keep their medic alive to have any chance of holding on to that, because Condom's spawn was so long. But that was a really sticky round there for Perilous. They made a lot of mistakes on their defense, and I'm really questioning the way that they're setting up with their scouts, because they're trying to go a little too aggressive. If you've got both of your soldiers going aggressive, you have to keep your scouts not taking damage and ready to play that maybe a little more of a bitch role. The one that we're used to criticizing some of the scouts for, but that's exactly what we need to see from Perilous, and they're losing so many players at the moment. One of them falls to izon, the rest try and jump it in, but that aggressive player is just going to get punished so hard. Koss is trying to dodge his pipes, is not going to escape. That's unfortunate. But great mid-fight coming out from Lego.
Yeah, really, really well played by them, actually. Picking up very quick and easy frags straight off the bat of that mid-fight. Three quick picks made that entire capture possible. And now we do see izon. Body shots Thalash. This man has had such a massive impact throughout this entirety of this game. I'm not surprised Thalash is opting for the sniper pick now. He really needs to, basically, a lot of pride on the line now to try and out-snipe him. And here we go. This is the attempt by Perilous, as they've already bombed one soldier in. One headshot by izon, going to be picking up Silentes in the end. And Lego are looking like they're the better players in this game currently. And they picked up Koss! My goodness, izon, what are you made of? Jesus Lord Almighty, he's on a 4K and he's absolutely demolishing Perilous.
Yeah, the positioning there from alle was a little too far forwards, and he got rushed down by, I believe it was Sorix, and that left Koss in a position where he could either leave his demo man out to die and stay out of the sightline, or he could commit to the sightline and try and save alle. Unfortunately, he paid for that one with his life, and Condom still has that full uber charge, so Perilous really have to try and get aggressive now. Silentes attempted to hit that air shot onto izon, but he's going to die for it. Josh falls, and here comes the uber charge. See how many people they can pick up with this one. Really, the only player they need is Koss, but he's already miles out there. Great positioning from him.
And I mean, Lego, they're playing this incredibly well, and as we've seen throughout, they've been slowly, as these rounds have been continuing, working out their kinks. Perilous, mind you, have been making mistakes as well at the same time, and oh my goodness! Izon finishes up that headshot onto Mike, just to basically take care of the flank. He noticed that Lego weren't taking it fast enough, so he decided to do their job for them, and now, here we go. Perilous going to be trying to slowly but surely take up this point. They have managed to cap it, so that is good news for them, but now, if they start to lose players now, it's actually Thalash who's the one to pick up Izon. Finally, a counter-frag for them, and Sorex deep between the enemy lines, and he actually is going to get out the force of Perilous, so that's really good for them. If Condom can get out alive now, this could be absolutely beautiful, but he's being chased down by so many players, and Ali's actually going to be paying with his life. A little bit too far forward by him there. So ultimately, I mean, they did get the cap, and they have got, well, not really much of an uber advantage, but I mean, things could be a lot worse for Perilous right now in this situation.
Alle had an opportunity to get Condom there, but chose to help his scout with the onto Dr. Phil as well, and just gave up that opportunity, paid with his life as well, because he was too late for the chase. And now this is a really stiff situation for Perilous, because they are a minute down in terms of time on the cap, and they have to give up this point, because they are both soldiers down, and a huge Uber disadvantage, so they can't really afford to wait either for the Uber to get up, because that's another 10 seconds or more off the clock. So they're going to have to try and work Thalash into a position where he can set some kind of opening up for them.
And here we are, izon finishes up another one, going to be counter-sniping against Thalash there. Mike is going to be trying to create some distraction plays on that flank area. Ultimately, Uber going to be being popped now by Lego as they are looking to chase up these frags, and chase them they will actually. Going to be bringing down the members of the team of Perilous, who maybe strayed a bit too far forward from their side of the map, and now Lego are looking so hot right now. I mean, Cost does have the Uber to work off, but you know, Lego, they're looking so incredibly strong, and izon being an absolute incredibly dominant force, and we're going to see if he can make some more magic happen for them and potentially make this 2-all for Lego.
That's going to be really sticky for Perilous if it comes down all to this last round here on Product. Celentis is going to bomb forwards, but Josh has come in with a really nice flank, forces off Cos, and they're forced to use it forwards. Now alle bombing in, but Condom has fallen, as pressure in now, and this is a great cleanup from Perilous scouts.
Yeah. Sorex being the only survivor in that engagement, that absolute genocide, I should say, as they've just lost absolutely everyone on the side of Lego now. But I mean, Perilous, they've got to hold this now for pretty much 2 minutes straight with 14 seconds on the clock. One big repush from Lego could be pretty much curtains now for Perilous, and could potentially make this a 2-2 scoreline. Celentis is a little bit actually in that house area, and he's actually got the drop onto Condom. He's not hitting his rockets, however, as Condom's movement is too great for him, and ultimately he is going to come out pretty much unscathed from that. But here we are now, this is the play coming in, Lego trying to make something happen, and Perilous, they really need to step up now if they want to make something happen. Thalash hits up Sorex, he's on a free killing spree, make that 4 now as he's picked up another one. Zen going to be falling as well, and this is still looking incredibly good. Now make it 5, killing spree for this man. Can he pick up izon as well? What an absolute machine. These shots after shots, this aim is on fire. Unbelievable stuff, and they're going to be able to still hold this point, Sideshow.
They are. That miracle play there from Thalash saved them from a sticky situation where Celentis just cannot resist going for these plays, it seems, when they should just be in control of the point. And he's playing a loose soldier style, but a little too loose there in these disadvantaged situations where his team has control of the point. But now both teams have Uber, and they just need to be putting great spam on Josh. Got obliterated by that trap. Goodness me, and Mike's picked up Sorex on the flank as well, so this is looking great here for Perilous. Mike's also going to bomb in, and the Uber has been forced, and they know that Mike's behind the lines. That's going to stop izon causing a bit of a nuisance. Zen's picked up as well, and Mike is still all the way back here, just taking a duel with Josh, taking them on a wild goose chase.
That's going to be really, really hard. Now time is against them now, as we do see if Perilous take this is it, but they've already picked up one frag, and can they pick up the second one onto Celentis on the flank? But no, they cannot. Thalash with his 7 kill spree right now. Can he make it 8? It's actually Kos is going to be finishing up Sorex in the end. No Solara from him, and this is 15 seconds left on the clock. Look at this forward hold by Perilous. They're really giving no room to breathe whatsoever for Lego. izon most likely going to be falling as well as Celentis finishes him up, and here we go. Look at this big bomb forward coming to be like Dr. Phil is really just last-ditch efforts now, trying to make something happen. Celentis just beats Condom down in the back lines, and here we go. It's really all on these 2 men. Sorex is the only man left. Oh
What
my goodness.
a game. What a game. I mean, Product just delivers every time, doesn't it? It's so fun to watch, but goodness me, that was a match and a half. Lego was so close there, only 14 seconds left, but that forward hold at the end, they battered them. Just Mike and Salentes on the left, the rocket aim is phenomenal, and Thalash just came in at the perfect moment to clean up. What a game. That was a brilliant one.
Yeah. It was incredibly impressive all around. I mean, Lego was showing some really good dominance throughout that as well. Izon Sniper was putting in absolutely massive work, a really driving force between the success of Lego between those pushes. But ultimately, it was Perilous that took it with the great distraction plays. We did see those bombs by Mike coming behind basically the entirety of Lego and just creating that nagging feeling at the back of their mind when they were trying to create some plays onto the point. Just that feeling that Mike could come in at any moment and absolutely demolish your entire team. So really well played to both teams overall, but I want to say I'm not surprised by Perilous' victory, but I was kind of expecting Lego to have a larger performance. I wasn't expecting it to be 5-0 by any means, but yeah, I don't know. It was a fun game to watch. Definitely a fun game to watch.
Yeah, what I've highlighted is the fact that Thalash got 30 frags there and 17 deaths. I mean, when they're playing this loose soldier style, you'd kind of want Thalash to be getting slightly less deaths of this, but can you really argue it when he's getting so many frags and just following up on all of the damage that his soldiers are doing as well? Salentes and Mike were just roaming around the map, getting as much as they could possibly get done. And alle as well is doing a lot of work. He's got 419 DPM with only 11 deaths. So
yeah.
A big fan of how he was playing on that one, because if you compare that over to Dr. Phil, if we sort it by deaths, you can see that Dr. Phil's pretty high up there with 20 deaths. Didn't put out as much damage as well, so he was just getting picked off in a lot of those situations. So the positioning from alle overall was slightly better, but look at that. You can just know the fact that both of their soldiers with so many deaths there on Salentes and Mike, but it opened up a world of opportunities for the rest of their team.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's time and time again we did see in those pushes that alle was absolutely crunching them. Might not have been picking up the frags, but it was definitely Thalash on cleanup duty. But alle was definitely there, present throughout the entirety of that game. If we look at the heals as well,
look at those heals. They're so interesting.
Unbelievable.
alle with 31%, which will have helped him to stay alive so much, although he did get pretty much the same heals as Josh. But interestingly, Ast with 21% heals, and he made it work. He was on cleanup duty that game as well and put out a reasonable amount of damage. But the fact that Salentes and Mike took so little just gave them the opportunity to roam around there.
Yeah, it was an incredible game from basically both sides, as we were saying. And I mean, what would you say is the main driving factor of Perilous basically taking this victory from Lego? Was it basically just their coordination as a team?
I think it was the way that their soldiers were playing. I really enjoyed the way that both Mike and Salentes were syncing things up, occasionally going for plays on their own and going deep behind and being able to drag everybody back. But sometimes they were syncing things together as well and just diving deep down, obliterating the flank and going forwards. And although Lego threw in a curveball with izon on Sniper and the double scout strategy as well, it worked for a small period of time. They managed to get that round against them as well, but they were fighting back against it pretty well. They were able to get a soldier deep behind quite a lot of the time and then get onto izon. And the fact that alle stayed alive and was dishing out considerable amounts of damage throughout the entirety of that, with excellent positioning, as I said, so that he didn't get caught out in these situations, just worked in their favor. There was a little bit of a lack of flexibility for Lego because they couldn't really play with this double soldier, double scout strategy because Zen was letting them down. I mean, I hate to call people out, but Zen really was just letting them down when they were playing. When they were playing the David's saying, "Do the fancy stats." What the hell are the fancy stats?
Have you not done the fancy stats?
I haven't done the fancy stats.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Okay, all right. Let's get up these fancy stats now. We can see the relative frags by zone. Woo! Okay, have you got the view open?
I do have the view open.
This is some leading production quality brought to us by Gentleman John, so you can thank you for this. But you can see the frags sort of coming into the way, definitely for Perilous, in pretty much every part of the map, apart from their Lego's own side, pretty much, where they were the more dominant ones, and that was mainly from Perilous, them catching them off guard, I suppose. But as you can see, just the complete dominant performance by Perilous.
We'll take a look at this, aren't you? I am, I'm just in awe of it.
Okay, yeah.
In awe of fancy stats. We've got some guys in here for interviews as well. We've got alle, Kos, and Thalash from Perilous. I'm not sure whether we're going to get anyone from Lego. You know, maybe.
You see how we have 8 kills?
Just
maybe
0. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You're answering questions before we'd even asked them there.
Oh, we were looking at stats.
Yeah, the stats are pretty fancy, aren't they?
Like,
what were you picking out of the stats there?
The kills on the far left, like in their spawn. Is that from the forward hold?
I imagine so, yeah. You guys just obliterated them in the forward hold, really.
Thank you.
No problem, alle. There were a few occasions where you went forward on the right-hand side and you were a little out of position, but that one forward hold where the soldiers were on the left as well was excellent, top tier. What were your thought process? Well, starting off with process, actually. Let's ignore product just for a moment, but on process, you guys just came out the door really well, and you were up 2-0 pretty easily. It didn't really seem like that much of a contest. Had you guys changed anything before the game, or what was your game plan going into process against Go?
You want to answer that, Kos?
Well, we didn't do anything different. Like, we didn't have any new ideas coming into process. We just played our normal game.
What was the idea then when you are pushing forward? I'm VDD, please don't ask long questions, says alle. Alright, I'll keep it simple, alle. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
What you guys executed a lot of good last pushes there as well, whereas Lego, they had one mid fight where they won it fairly dominantly and were able to push the last, but weren't able to break the Uber v Uber stalemates. So what kind of things were you guys trying when you're in these Uber v Uber stalemates, trying to break them, either between mid and second or second and last?
Majority just came down to like sending Mike in. We tried to do some fancy stuff on the right side with Mike, but in general, like pushing into process last, trying to get a force is really difficult, and it was we played default. It was nice having a a 6th player on the team.
Yeah, man, felt good.
It's just really rude.
No, we tried pushing people in on the right, and then like it kind of worked. One time we went really tits up, but it felt like super scrappy when we were walking in on the right. Like it wasn't very well executed. We just kind of got some ground for free, and somehow won.
I feel like since we were always like winning that game, they also like walked into us because they obviously wanted to come back. So like we didn't always have to initiate into them. They sometimes just ran into us, you know. So that made it easier for us.
At what point, Dr. Phil, did it feel like process was out of your hands? We some rush pushes at the end once the time started ticking really past kind of 10 minutes. You guys were forced into a lot of fights, but at what point did you just start manning up and trying to take the fights into your own hands?
All around, I think it was 10 minutes, then we started thinking, okay, we need to make something happen now, the way this game is going. Like at that pace it was going, we needed to speed it up if we needed to have a chance to actually win it or tie it at least.
And why do you think some of those pushes didn't work for you guys?
Our coordination, basically, was lacking a lot, also on the product as well.
Can you attribute that to anything tonight? Was it just soldiers and scouts not syncing up, or were people not communicating properly? What was the reason for the lack of cohesion tonight?
I think it was basically the combo on the flank not syncing up and actually going in, and people dying at stupid times and getting caught out.
Give names.
Yes.
Who did it?
Phil's not going to give names.
Who did it?
Who was responsible? Who was responsible?
He's not BMing.
Oh, okay,
Izon is
thanks.
BMing. Izon's frantically BMing his team right now. That's what all the typing was.
What? Hello?
Nothing, Izon. It's okay. You
No,
can go
I'm
back to sleep.
flaming fucking someone wants me to shout out, but I don't know.
So then moving on to product as well, you guys started off with just a standard composition Lego, and then you moved Izon over to Sniper. So what was the thought process there, and what cued you to move him and for the rest of the game to run the double scout and Sniper strategy?
What? Are you talking to me or Chris?
Both of us. What
To
about
both of us.
Izon, go back to sleep. It's okay. Dr. Phil can do the talking. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, it didn't seem to work out with Sen and Roma, and we have been playing izon a lot on Sniper, so... And Sen and Scar for that matter. And it has been working out quite well. And it seemed to work out fairly well when they actually started out with it.
What did you have to change to deal with that then, Thalash? We saw you counter-sniping towards the end, but in terms of when you were running the standard composition, what did you guys change in order to deal with the double scout and sniper?
So we went into the game plan of us trying to just play without being able to, or have, like, making sniper our only way to win a viaduct. So
It wrecked you. You couldn't
that's
touch
the
me.
only. It's always difficult coming in, like, if you haven't sniped, then you have the position on a point to try and kill you at 185. It's difficult, but we've tried to make sure that we can play product without running sniper. Because if it comes down to it, and I'm having a bad day, and we have to play product versus nameless in the finals or something, and I'm not having a good day, then we don't know how to play product out of, like, suddenly. So we have been trying this. We watched Furrytex demos from I-55 before our scrims
Stop giving
tonight.
away his strats.
But we've been trying, like, aggro solis, less heals and solis, and no scouts, like, on the left side pressuring the connect area, but just having Mike constantly playing behind and kind of collapsing on them after Uber fights and stuff. We try to have, like, a solid behind on China or something, or getting on the sniper on, like, from the far left side, and kind of playing it like that instead of relying on the sniper to hit heads.
Dr. Phil, you ended up dying a lot more than your opposing demoman here, alle. Was that a result of somebody in particular pressuring you, or a lack of coordination? What was the reason for the large amount of deaths compared to what we'd normally see or like to see from a demoman on product?
I think it was just a lack of coordination, maybe me playing too aggressive compared to my team on the point a lot of the time.
Whereas alle came out with a reasonable amount of damage, and you only died 11 times as well. So were you intending to play more passively? What was the game plan going into that for you, alle?
Yeah, like me and Kos just playing more passive together, basically. And obviously our soldiers were jumping around a lot and creating space, so like it made it fairly easy for me to sometimes just push forward and get some damage, and as well as them pushing over. Like, one thing I noticed them doing is when they push over the point, they always go into a fucking ball, you know? And then I just put one sticky and I get like 50 damage on everyone. So, you know, I don't know. It's just playing far back a bit and just still dishing out the easy damage. I don't know.
In terms of where this sets you guys in the table, Perilous are now at the top of the league with 18 points, followed by
Where we belong.
Nameless.
Number
Followed
one
by
team
Nameless
in Europe, guys.
on 15. Lego, what are your guys' aims for the season? Izon, I'm going to direct this one at you, so I'll repeat the question.
Okay.
Well, what are your guys' aims for the season? Where are you hoping to finish? Where do you think that you can finish?
We can probably come top 4, I think. But I don't really care. Like, I'm not gonna play anymore after this season. TF2 is so fucking boring right now. It's so slow, man. It's so fucking slow. It so sucks.
Alright, please stop swearing.
Okay.
Family show.
Right.
Why is it
Yeah,
so
okay.
slow, Izon? Why is it so slow?
Because of I'm blaming reason.
Oh, nameless.
Yeah, nameless. They started. Now everyone does it. They killed it.
What would you like to see in
Full on-
TFT?
Full on retard DM all the time. That's fun.
Old school Russian style, I think.
Yeah,
is
that's
wanting
like
to
the
play.
reason you play is to like shoot people. Why hold a choke for 10 minutes? It blows.
Do you? Does the rest of your team agree with this? Why have we not seen like crazy Russian aggression from Lego and GDK crits on Dr. Phil and
Because
stuff?
we can. Because if you do it, you'll just lose. Because they just run away like bitches.
Well, I'm enjoying this interview. Why? So Demo's gone as well because he thought the pace of the game was too slow, and apparently you guys rage quit a scrim recently against Nameless because
No, that
they were
was-
playing too slowly.
No, that was
didn't
all.
Perilous
That was
win
all.
against
That was
Nameless
all
as well,
on me. That was all on me. I was the one rage quitting. I got
You
so
rage
bored.
at a scrim.
Well, no, I just ran around meleeing. Basically,
What? Why?
because it's boring to hold chokes. Just
Alright.
like literally, the game is just so fucking slow now. Oh,
Easy
I'm
now,
sorry.
Izon.
It's so slow. No,
Do you,
no bueno gaming.
Do you not enjoy Product as a breath of fresh air from that one? Or
I like Product because you can't really play slow on it. That's the only map that's fun right now.
Yeah,
would you
there
like to
should-
see more Koth in the map pool?
Should be some more cuff maps.
No, I don't like Koth overall, but
You
but I like it because it's fast. But I'd rather have like fast Badlands or Process. It's much more fun.
would you rather just play pub, Izon, and run around and fix things?
Well, yeah, basically.
I think we found the problem.
Oh, maybe.
As for Nameless, Ale, what's your aim for the season? After Nameless have given up the 3 points to
Number one.
PC Master Race, do you think you can take number 1 from Nameless?
Of course.
When you guys go up against them, how do you see the game panning out?
5-0
on every map to us.
Right. So again, some very realistic answers from you here. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
I
for
mean, obviously,
participating.
it's not going to be. The thing with Nameless is when you play them and you win, it's usually not like a 5-0. It's because they slow the game down so much, and you kind of like you're forced into a slow playstyle. Like if anything, well, it's always close with them basically, unless they're playing against a bad team. But like two good teams playing against, or a good team playing against them, I think Perilous is good. So like playing against them, it's real close always. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's hard to predict. The win difference is only going to be like one score probably in the end, or one round rather. But it's like I'm saying, it's hard to say. But hopefully we can come out on top. You know.
And just because this is the game that followed that Name vs PC Master Race, what do you guys think of the vaccinator on Viaduct? Is it something that you'll be experimenting with, or think is a complete gimmick? Or what's the deal with the vaccinator, guys?
I don't think we're gonna really run it. I don't even think cost is reload bound. Don't
Yeah.
I know how to bind reload. So
So no vaccinator on Perilous Gaming.
probably not.
Have you guys experimented with it at all, Dr. Phil?
Not at all.
Do you think it holds any merit to be practiced with? Is it something that you're even going to consider, or was it just a random gimmick that Nameless tilted against? Why were they able to win if they were running Vaccinator and it's just a useless weapon?
Not useless when they only use explosive classes to actually chase, and they chase the medic. Like, chase everybody else but the medic. They have shit buffs because of the vaccinator.
So it was just dribbly game sense from Nameless.
A little bit.
Very well. That's the judgment from Dr. Phil. So that'll be interesting. I don't know whether who are PC Master Race against this week actually, because they're going to have to deal with the vaccinator, deal with the bubble of death as well. It is Happy Farmers. Oh, that's going to be an interesting.
So not that
one.
easy.
That's gonna be a good game.
Not that easy
Yeah.
for PC Master Race.
Absolutely. Well, we will wait until one of the other games is casted this week in order to return to you. But for now, this has been Perilous against Lego, and Perilous won this one 6-0 in terms of points on ETF2L. So tune in next time. We'll have some. In fact, we've got some North American action for you tonight. I will be casting some North American TFTV action where Bird Noises are taking on their first opponent in ESEA. So you can tune in for that later on if you guys are awake. But we'll see you next time on TFTV.